we were discussing about multiple cube extraction from a set of functions, Boolean functions. And this is actually for optimizing multi-level logic circuits. And in the last class, we started with the idea of kernels. And we have briefly seen what are kernels. Kernel of a Boolean expression f is a cube-free quotient. That is a cube-free quotient of the expression f that results when you divide f by a divisor that is itself a single cube. Okay. Co-kernel of f is the single cube by which you divided f to get the kernel. So if D is a single cube and if the quotient is cube free, then it is this quotient is a kernel. And we have seen some examples here. Okay. And we have also seen more examples which quotients are kernels. And if you see here for this function, f is equal to abc plus abd plus bcd, if our divisor cube is c, divisor cube is b, then we get b into ac plus ad plus cd. Okay, and this ac plus ad plus cd is our quotient, and this is cube free because you cannot extract any single cube from this with the zero remainder. So therefore, this is a kernel. This quotient is a kernel. Similarly, you can see that c plus d is a kernel when you divide the function by ab. Similarly, when you divide the function by bc or bd, you get a plus d and a plus c as quotients which are kernel. Okay, so we have seen in the last class that we can extract multiple cubes from different functions if the kernels of those functions, when intersected, result in more than one cube. Okay, two or more cubes. Okay, so we have seen this in the last class. F is equal to, suppose we can write, we have functions f and g, and we can write function f as cube 1 into k1 plus remainder 1, where k1 is the kernel of f function f. Similarly, g can be written as cube 2 into k2 plus remainder 2, where k2 is the kernel of g. Then k1 and k2 are cube free, and therefore I can write k1 as something like this: stuff 1 plus x plus y plus z. K2 is stuff 2 plus x plus y plus z, and therefore the intersection of k1 and k2 gives you x plus y plus z. Okay, and that is the common common set of cubes in f and g. So I can extract this from f and g like this. Okay, so moving forward, why this is important? This definition or theorem by Brayton and Macmillan, because this gives us a tool by which you can extract multiple cubes from two or more Boolean expressions. So what it says, Brayton-Macmillan theorem says that there is a common multiple cube divisor for your function f and g, if and only if you can find kernels in f and in g such that intersection of kernels gives expression with more than two cubes. That intersection is your divisor. That is this set of cubes in the intersection of kernels is our divisor. So here is another example. Suppose our function f and g are the following. F is ae plus be plus cde plus ab. G is ad plus ae plus bd plus be plus bc. So if I divide f by E is my cokernel, that is single cube, then I get A plus B plus CD as the kernel. Of course, the remainder I am not bothered because we are looking at kernel and co-kernel. So you see, this is how it happens. You can write f as E into A plus B plus CD, A plus B plus CD, plus some remainder. Okay, we are not worried about this remainder. So this A plus B plus CD is the quotient, which is cube free. I cannot extract a single cube from this with zero remainder from this quotient. So therefore, this is a kernel. Okay. Similarly, if I divide the function by A, you get the kernel as B plus E. If I divide the function by B, you get the kernel as A plus E, and so on. So you get these as kernels. Similarly, for G, you have kernel A plus B if when we divide the function G by D or E. Okay, D or E. Okay. Similarly, we get the kernel D plus E when we divide the function G by A or B. Okay, so these are all kernels, and these are and the corresponding co-kernels for G. Similarly, kernels and co-kernels for F. Now, let us see how to use them. What does Brayton-McMillan suggest now? Look for interesting intersections of kernels, one from F and one from G, with at least two cubes in the expression that results. So when we look at the kernels here, let us see this first kernel, A plus B plus C, D, intersection with A plus B, the kernel A plus B of G, that this intersection gives me A plus B. So A plus B is a multiple cube because you have two cubes here. So this becomes the common divisor for F and G. Okay, this becomes common multiple cube divisor for F and G. Similarly, when I intersect the last kernel of F, that is AE plus BE plus CD plus AB, that is function itself, with the kernel of G, last kernel of G, that is AD plus AE plus BD plus BE plus BC, which is actually the function itself. So when you intersect these two, you get the intersection as AE plus BE. Okay, AE plus BE, is it a kernel? It is not a kernel because you have E. I can extract E from this. Okay. Okay. So though originally these are kernels, this is not a kernel. And nevertheless, we need not worry about this. We are actually intersecting these two kernels, and the intersection need not be a kernel, but this happens to be a common multiple cube divisor for F and G. Okay. So that is the idea. We are looking at common multiple cube divisors for the two functions. So we have now two common multiple cube divisors. That one is A plus B, another is AE plus BE. Okay. So we have two possibilities for multi-cube divisor D. One is A plus B, another is AE plus BE. So let us see by dividing the function F and G by these two divisors. So first let us choose A plus B. When we divide F by A plus B, I get this, something like this. And when I divide G, you get this. Okay. Now you see the total number of literals. Here you have how many literals in function F and G? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 literals. So the cost of implementing F and G is 19. Now, if I extract A plus B, then let us see the cost. So 2 for D, that is, I am extracting A plus B from both F and G. So I have this A plus B, new function, which has two literals. And then 7 for F, because now this is our capital D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for F and 6 for G. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Because this is actually, this is written as, actually this is D into A plus, sorry, D into D, this is D, D into D plus D into E plus BC, okay, plus BC, okay, plus BC. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is 6 for G and 7 for F, that becomes 13, 2 for D, so 15. So 19 has become 15. Okay, so when you extract A plus B from F and G, the total cost has reduced from 19 to 15. Okay. However, if you do the same thing for considering the other cube for extraction, that is D is equal to AE plus BE, then you can write F as AE plus BE, that is the new D, plus CDE plus AB. Similarly for G, it is AE plus BE plus CAD plus BD plus BC. So the total cost reduction, if you look at the cost of this new function, is 4 for D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 6, 6 for F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for G. So 13 plus 4, 17. So the total cost of the two functions, the cost of implementation becomes 17 if I extract AE plus BE. So notice here that it is not always better to have the biggest intersection of kernels to have the best ultimate common devices. Because even though you have extracted AE plus BE from F and G, which is bigger than A plus B, the total cost of implementing this new function is 17, whereas the previous this thing it is 15. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So kernels, so they are quite useful, but how to get them? So we have to find how to get the kernels. Another recursive algorithm, there are some more useful properties of kernels to see first, to see where this algorithm comes from. So we start with the function f, that is cube, function f as cube 1 into k1 plus remainder 1. So k1 is our kernel. The interesting question is, what about the kernels of k1? K1 itself is a kernel. How are there any kernels for k1? Okay, k1 is perfectly nice Boolean expression, so it has got its own kernels. Okay, let us see what are the kernels of k1. So let us say if k2 is a kernel of k1, then we can write k1 as cube 2 into k2 plus remainder 2. So this is our function k1, where k1 is a kernel in itself. Okay, so k2 is the kernel of k1. Now I can find, you replace k1 in function f with k2. So what you get, f is cube 1 into k1 plus remainder 1, where k1 is this. Okay, you substitute for k1. You get cube 1 into cube 2 into k2 plus remainder 2 plus remainder 1. So you get the overall function f as cube 1 into cube 2 into k2, okay, plus cube 2 into cube 1 into remainder 2. It should be cube 1 into remainder 2. Okay. Cube 1 into remainder 2 plus remainder 1. So this is K2 is also a kernel of F1. K1 is a kernel of F. Similarly, K2 is also a kernel of F. So K2 is itself a kernel of function F. Okay. So there is a hierarchy of kernels, each inside the next up. Okay, up the hierarchy. So a kernel K in KF is a level 0 kernel if it has no kernels inside it. Okay. When you have just 2 cubes left in a kernel, then you cannot find more kernel or there cannot be kernels inside that 2 cube kernel. Okay. So you can see here. Okay. So to find the kernels, suggest the algorithm is this. Start with your expression F. One variable at a time, compute algebraic quotient, that is F divided by that variable. If it is cube free, then it is a kernel. Okay, kernels with only 2 terms can't contain other kernels, so terminate the recursion. If the quotient has more than 1 term, recursively divide it by other variables to find all kernels. So here is an example. Let us say F is ABC plus ABD plus BCD. Now let us divide a function by different variables A, B, C, D, etc. When I divide F by A, you get BC plus BD. Okay, when I divide F by A, you get BC plus BD. Okay, is this a kernel? This is not a kernel because I can extract B from this. Okay, so now you divide this by B, you get C plus D. That is a kernel. Okay, when I divide this by C, you get only a single cube, that is B. When I divide this by D, you get another single cube. When I divide this by D, you get another single cube B. So these are not kernels. So this is kernel. When I divide this by B, you get a kernel AC plus AD plus CD. Okay. So when you divide this by C, you get AB plus BD, which is not a kernel because you can extract B from this. So similarly, when you divide this by D, you get AB plus BC, again, which is not a kernel. However, if you divide this by B, you get A plus C as the kernel. When you divide this by B, you get A plus D as the kernel. When you divide this by A, you get C plus D as the kernel. When you divide this by C, you get A plus D as the kernel. When you divide this by D, you get A plus C as the kernel. So if you look at this, you have a couple of kernels, A plus C, A plus D, and C plus D. Okay, so this is a kernel of this. This is also a kernel of this. This is also a kernel of this. So you have function F has 2 levels of kernel. This is level 1 and level 0. Okay, this is level 0 kernel. So, okay. So this is how you divide first A and then, divide by, you have divided first by B and then by A, first by B and then by C and so on. So you are going one at a time. Okay. The problem in such a division is it is a very naive way of finding. Okay. You revisit each kernel once for every permutation of co-kernel variables. You see here, first I have divided by A and then B, you got C plus D as the kernel. Whereas here, first I divided by B and then by A, I get the same kernel. So we are actually wasting our time by dividing the same, the function by the same set of variables, but in a different order. Okay. But nevertheless, we get the same kernel. So this is a waste of time. So what we can do is we can do a much easier thing. There is a another theorem by Breiter. Okay, what it says is co-kernels of a Boolean expression in sum of product form correspond to intersection of 2 or more of its cubes in this sum of product form. See, to find the kernel for this, first to find the co-kernel. How do I find the co-kernel? You intersect the one cube with every other cube. Suppose I intersect ACE and BCE, you get CE as the common expression. So CE. So that is the co-kernel, because when I divide this by CE, you get A plus B as the kernel. Okay. Similarly, if I intersect ACE with BCE and DE, you get E as the co-kernel, E, and AC plus BC plus D as the kernel. Okay. So that is what you get. Okay. AC plus BC plus D. So here is the kernel algorithm. You go through this kernel algorithm. So therefore, we have we can see the kernel hierarchy. Given a Boolean expression, you start with find variables which are present in how many cubes of f. Suppose you take the variable a, it is present only in one cube. Okay, a is present only in one cube. B is present, B also is present only in one cube. So by using B as a co-kernel, you don't get a kernel. Okay. Whereas when you look at C, C is present in two cubes, which are AC and BC. And when you intersect, you get CE as the co-kernel and A plus B as the kernel. Okay. D is present only in one cube, so it cannot be a co-kernel. Similarly, E, when you try looking at E can be a co-kernel because E is present in three cubes and the kernel is AC plus BC plus D. And finally, G is present only in one cube, therefore it cannot be a co-kernel. Okay. So like this, you can find the kernels and co-kernels. So therefore, our kernel hierarchy algorithm, we can find all the kernels and co-kernels, okay, if you want them. Problem is we will revisit same kernel multiple times, though not as bad as before. Okay. Now, by the solution is small trick is to remember which variables you have already tried in the co-kernels. Okay. So if you have tried already some variables as co-kernels, then don't try them again in any lower level of recursive calls. So that is how. Okay. So using kernels and co-kernels, what good are these? Write component pieces for extraction of single cube divisor from multiple expressions and extraction of multiple cube divisor from multiple expressions. So the co-kernel is a single cube extraction from multiple expressions, and kernel is a multiple cube divisor or multiple cube extraction that we can do from multiple expressions. Okay. So here is an example. Suppose f is ACE plus BCE plus DE plus H. This is our function. Co-kernels are these one, CE and E, and the corresponding kernels are ACE plus BCE plus DE plus H. That is one one kernel. Another kernel is A plus B. Corresponding co-kernel is CE. The third kernel is AC plus BC plus D. The co-kernel is E. Similarly, for G, because every variable appears only once, so you have only one kernel and the co-kernel is one. Okay, so kernel is CDE plus B. Now, if you intersect this with this, okay, this with this or this with this, you get some function or some function as the intersection of these two. So the idea here is, if you look at cube CE, C is a common single cube divisor of F and G. You see, CE divides F and you get A plus B as a kernel. Here, if you divide G by CE, you get D as the single cube divisor. Okay. So C is a common single cube divisor of F and G, but it is not a co-kernel of any kernel in G, because when you divide function G, okay, this should be G, function G by CE, you get D as the resultant quotient, but D is not a kernel. Okay. Anyway, so that is the counterexample in a sense that you cannot extract CE as and get a multiple cube divisor in G. So in summary, okay, we can divide a given Boolean function using a single cube or a multiple cube divisor. Single cube divisors are those cubes which are actually co-kernels of the function, whereas multiple cube divisors are kernels of the function. So assume Boolean function behave like polynomials of real numbers. A variable and its complements are treated as unrelated. Now, during algebraic division, it lets you divide one Boolean function by another, and the function can be represented as f is equal to divisor d into quotient q plus remainder r. Kernels and co-kernels of a function. Kernel is a cube-free quotient got by dividing by a single cube. Intersections of two kernels, intersections of kernels of two functions f and g are where all the interesting multiple cube common sub-expressions are to be found. So you can, when you intersect kernels of two functions, and if you get multiple cubes in the intersection, then they become multiple cube divisors for those two functions. So the strong theorem is by Brayton and McMullen. So we have to figure out what are the right common factors are to be, are to be extracted, given all this machinery, which means given all these ingredients, how to find the right common factors for division. So this we will see in the next class. If you have any questions, please go ahead.